This week, coming to you from our studios here in Lagos, the nation's commercial capital. Let's get into our conversation right away. Nigeria, the most populous country in Africa, faces a daunting challenge in ensuring food security for its growing population. With over 200 million people to feed, the country struggles to produce and distribute enough food to meet the demands of its citizens. According to experts, these complex and multifaceted challenges also present an opportunity for innovation and growth. But how does the country harness its agricultural opportunities to unlock a more food secure future for its people? Well, that's exactly what we're about to find out in this conversation. And I'm being joined by the project manager at the UK Agri Tech Center, Mrs. Chioma Ezeanaka. She joins us virtually now. Thank you for your time. Let's get started there, Mrs. Ezeanaka. Nigeria has a rich agricultural heritage. Yes, we know that. Yet, the food insecurity persists. In your opinion, what are some systemic issues hindering the country from realizing its full agricultural potential, and how can they be addressed holistically? Let's start from there.
Okay, so thank you again, Frank. It's good to be here on your show and to share some of my views around the things plaguing the Nigerian food security systems. But in my opinion, it's more of a silos thinking problem where each part of the food system is addressed individually, and just like every country has challenges in its different sectors, ours is not unique to us. There are several countries that have similar challenges, but what are we doing different that's not helping us see the type of results and successes that other countries are recording? Is silos thinking, a firefighting approach to solving these problems rather than a predictive and an adaptive approach. Because Frank, if you know, and I'm sure everybody is very aware that the world is moving at a very fast pace this time, and if we focus on solving the problems of the past, even if we do that successfully, we'll still be very behind. We won't be able to compete, won't be able to have a system that works for us in the now. So everything, be it as it may, those challenges, not particularly unique to just Nigeria alone. But for us, I'll say we're focusing on just fighting the problems of the past rather than predicting, and creating the future that we want. Like a popular saying, the best way to predict the future is to create it. So to say, this is what we want, and this is what we're going to do to get it, and just focus all our energies on that part where we can look back and say that we've solved all the other challenges in the process, and we're at a place where we can now start to boast of at least food security at the national level, and a good footing and a good structure and system in place to help us to continue to adapt for the future.
Talking about productive and adaptive approach, I know you're a project manager at the UK Agri-Tech Center. What innovation or innovative approaches can Nigeria adopt to improve its food security situation, learning from countries that are successful at this already?
Okay, so I'll say, again, especially because of my experience where I now work, is to adapt the model. Not particularly a technology or a system or policy, none of those silos solutions. It's a model, and the model that the UK is applying is brilliant. It's brilliant. So just to express that in real terms, to flesh it out, the UK Agri-Tech Center sits as a nexus organization between the government and industry, right? And what it means is it can listen to the heartbeat of the industry and connect directly with different stakeholders, so manufacturers, primary producers, supply chain, food supply chain, service providers, the retail outlets, the traditional markets, the growers, packaging producers. So everyone within the food sector is in this network that we liaise with, so we can hear their real challenges. And it also relates directly as part of the organization's model with the universities and research and development institutions that do incredible work, just creating solutions, adapting technology, um, and even doing futuristic technologies that can help the countries or help different systems to adapt to whatever challenges they may face. And then we were interfacing with the government as well, informing them of these challenges and these technologies that exist and how the government can develop policies that can bring these technologies to life in a way that the businesses can adapt. So it's a project-based setting where the different stakeholders in the food sector are saying to us what the challenges are, and then we're bringing in independent partners as research organizations who can tell you that you're doing something great, but based on government standards or industry standards, you need to up your game in this particular regard. Bringing that independent view, fresh thinking with fresh, brilliant minds. The university is a place where you will not lack ideas, you will not lack fresh, brilliant minds looking at problems. And then being able to then advise government on, what, this needs to change, and some policies that are currently in place would restrict what should help the country move forward. And it's that kind of marriage that, again, like I said in the first place, can do that predictive and adaptive approach to ensuring food security, first at a national level, and then support even global food security. And if I were to give an example, because this is how I actually got into the sector, when I was doing my master's in design thinking, as part of our project, we're given a real industry challenge to design something for the agri sector, actually. And there's a solution that had been paid for and given to several really good design companies to create. And none of the solutions solve the problem. But just bringing in students, fresh independent minds, and saying, this is the challenge, this is what we want you to achieve. And you're bringing people from multiple sectors. I had an experienced architect with over 20 years experience on my team. I had the mechanical experts with, great, just really brilliant minds, bringing them together and just allowing them tackle a problem. So the solution we came up with was out of the box, but it solved the problem where they were thinking that the students will validate what the experts had said, that this solution, you can't get this result. You probably have to settle for this less or this less. But we're able to come up. And that's what gave me the opportunity through that project to then come into the organization to see that this is brilliant, right? You have children, you have people who are still bright and they don't yet have those restrictions that life throws at you after you face so many challenges, looking at those problems, having the experience of the professors who have seen brilliance all their lives and being able to bring it together, or not to allow them to just go on a tangent creating, but focusing that energy on real problems and saying, look, can you solve this? Can you solve this? We need this. And even creating multiple interactions between departments, a marriage between maybe the traditional agri sector, aerospace, engineering, management, bring all of them, because lots of those expertise exist on the same campus for the universities, or maybe specialties in particular research institutions. So you're solving problems and you're developing innovative solutions that look at problems holistically and create solutions that are fit for purpose, right? And you can then take this to the government and say, you know what, we need to fund this because this solves the problem, and this is how it solves. It adds value not only to the sector but to the economy at large.
In essence, what you're saying is that the first step to addressing this challenge is to bring stakeholders together, to brainstorm and create a roadmap to solve this challenge, more like establishing a research institution or hub. Is that what you're saying?
No, not a research institute. So it's a model. I'm saying that we need to adapt the model, a model that has um, a plugin for all the stakeholders to communicate both their challenges, the resources that are available to solve the problem, to then create a solution in a way that everybody would have contributed to it and it can be adopted because the government is involved. There's a plugin for government to receive feedback and then to push in funding where it is needed. There is a plugin for the stakeholders that are doing the actual work. So industry experts, primary food producers, processors, supply chain experts, packaging material experts, and all those other tech inputs. So we have a plugin for them to receive the information that this is what they're doing and these are the challenges they're facing. And then we have the research institutions and the universities who supply the brilliant minds that you cannot get all of that together in one particular institution to just facilitate bringing together the solution and then informing everybody that this is the potential solution, this is what government can do, and then the universities also have that information to say we've developed this and we can start to build on the solution for the next set of challenges or for the future.
Currently, Nigeria's